Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Dave Smith. I'm with the Pennsylvania Dairymen's Association. Welcome to Dairy Day for Healthy Kids here at the Capitol. We're delighted to welcome so many ag leaders, farm families, and lawmakers, and many others. Standing behind me and around me this morning are a diverse group of Pennsylvanians. Represented today are dairy farm families. They're the producers of fresh, locally produced food that we eat. We have legislators, we have ag leaders, we have nutritional experts, and they've all come to Harrisburg from every corner of Pennsylvania and the Commonwealth. Every one of these dairy farm families are representing thousands of dairy farmers who are at home today on their family farms, caring for their farm business and their livestock. Pennsylvania dairy farm families are unique and diverse in many aspects of farm business and farm practices, but one thing is for sure: they stand united on the issues of nutritious dairy milk. Our Pennsylvania dairy farmers are united in our call to once again allow the option of whole milk in school lunches, and also to have FDA enforce the rules of properly labeling imitation milk beverages. Although the dairy issues we focus on are federal issues, we are calling on our Pennsylvania legislative delegation in Washington, D.C. to support H.R. 832 Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act, H.R. 1769 Dairy Pride Act, and the Milk in Lunches Act, which was just recently last week introduced by U.S. Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. Before we get started, I'd like to welcome some special guests joining us today. Pennsylvania Congressman G.T. Thompson and Congressman Fred Keller, who you will all hear from just shortly. Also, our House Chair, Ag Committee Marty Causer, along with state lawmakers Dave Zimmerman, Clint Almond, and a vast number of others. Could you raise your hand, please, if you're a legislator? Hold your milks up, please. We also have represented the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, Greg Hostetter, and a representative from Congressman Muser's office. A special shout out to our supporters at the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, the Center for Dairy Excellence, the Pennsylvania Dairymen's Association, the Pennsylvania Milk Marketing Board, Professional Dairy Managers of Pennsylvania, Penn Ag Industries, Future Farmers of America, 4-H members, Dairy Princesses and Promotion Services Committees, our county farmers, and many, many more. Now it's my distinct honor to introduce to you one of the country's biggest agricultural champions and a true friend of dairy farmers in Pennsylvania, and to our students in this country. Please join me in welcoming Congressman G.T. Thompson of Pennsylvania 15th District. Congressman.
David, thank you. David, thank you so much. Good morning, Pennsylvanians.
Good morning.
And happy National Dairy Month. You know, as a senior member of the United States House of Representatives, the Committee on Agriculture, and a leader on dairy nationally, I'm so excited to be here today with everyone that's here. I just really appreciate everybody to come out. Now, I made some important notes to share with you, but not in there. Not sure. Not, oh, no. Not in there either. There they are. I found them. Oh.
All right.
Still trying to get that off. Thank you very much. That's right. I drink whole milk and I know things. You know, as we know, agriculture is our #1 industry in Pennsylvania. 1 out of every 7 jobs is directly or indirectly related to agriculture. And within Pennsylvania agriculture, dairy is our leading commodity. Now, dairy products like milk contain 9 essential nutrients that can help reduce your risk of high blood pressure, osteoporosis, and certain cancers. Whether it's protein to help build and repair muscle tissue of active bodies or vitamin A to help maintain healthy skin, dairy products are a natural nutrient powerhouse. Now, proudly, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is one of the largest milk-producing states in the nation. And the financial challenges to the dairy industry, sadly, have been largely market-driven. 2010, under the previous Washington administration, school nutrition standards were adopted that demonized milk fat. Now, this was based on what was inaccurate and incomplete science that was used to largely remove milk fat and flavor from our school cafeterias. The decline over the next 9 years in milk consumption was dramatic. It would be no exaggeration to claim that we lost an entire generation of milk drinkers. Sadly, this also has denied this generation of the healthy nutrition that can only be dependently provided through whole milk. In September 2018, a research article in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition reports a growing number of prospective nutrition research studies that have shown generally neutral or protective associations between dairy fat consumption that can reduce incidence of stroke, diabetes, it'll help with weight gain, and prevent certain cancers. Now, the bottom line is not only does whole milk consumption taste good, it's good for us. Now, I have a bill that is called the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. It would allow for whole milk, both flavored and non-flavored, to be offered in school cafeterias. It's time to expand the milk options for our kids, students, and reverse the decline of milk consumption in schools. In 2017 of November, the USDA announced regulatory changes consistent with legislation that I had introduced for the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Nutrition Programs, including a provision that provides schools with the option to serve low-fat, 1% flavored milk. Anecdotally, where this has been adopted by school districts, we have seen some increase in the sales and the consumption of milk has been observed. Now, if we can accomplish that with 1% milk, just think what we can do with 3.5% milk fat when they choose whole milk. Now, your support for whole milk for healthy kids is important, and we need every member of the Pennsylvania delegation, congressional delegation, to lead the way for better nutrition through whole milk. Let's give our kids the option of consuming the type of milk they love and the type of milk that they need. I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank you for really standing united for having proper nutrition for our kids. I think that's a responsibility that we share, certainly as parents, as members of communities, and as elected officials here in Harrisburg and in Washington, D.C. So I want to thank you for standing for whole milk for healthy kids. Now it's my privilege and honor to introduce a gentleman who's a longtime friend of mine, actually. I have the privilege of representing him in the United States Congress, and he represents a legislative district up in McKean County and counties, a few other counties there. He does such a great job of serving the needs of his constituents. He also today has the privilege and honor of chairing the House Agriculture Committee, and another passion that we have in common. So please join me in welcoming to the podium Chairman Marty Causer. Thanks for the milk.
Thank you, GT. No, I'm not taking my jacket off. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here with you, and what an impressive crowd that we have here on the steps. We're here today to advocate for a very healthy product and get that healthy product back into our schools and support Pennsylvania dairy farmers. We all know what a healthy product whole milk is, and it's just unconscionable to think that that healthy product has been denied our school children. When it comes right down to it, if kids don't like something, they're not going to drink it. How many people here want to drink skim milk? Nobody wants to drink skim milk. So if that's the only option that you have, then you're going to go drink something else. We need to bring whole milk back into our schools and provide that option for our school children. The House Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee met this morning. Congressman Thompson, Congressman Keller testified before the committee, and we passed 2 resolutions in support of what the congressmen are doing in Washington, D.C. They are providing the leadership that we need to help our dairy farmers and get milk back into schools. And specifically, House Resolution 402 was passed unanimously from the committee. It's been sponsored by Representative Jim Struzzi of Indiana County, and the resolution recognizes what Congressman Thompson is doing with his legislation in Washington, recognizes the nutritional value of whole milk, and specifically states our support for the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act of 2019. In addition, we passed a resolution. It's House Resolution 222, which is authored by our colleague, Representative John Lawrence of Chester County, and it outlines the challenges facing the dairy industry. It talks about how, in some cases, milk product is being mislabeled, and things are being called milk that aren't actually milk. You can't have milk if it doesn't come from a mammal. You can't milk an almond. It's important for us to make sure that milk is properly labeled, and we're urging the FDA in Washington to enforce their own rules. Enforce their own rules and make sure that only milk is labeled milk. So thank you to both the congressmen that are here. Thank you for their leadership, and we look forward to working with you, congressmen, to make this happen. So thank you so much.
Well, I now have the privilege of introducing a newly minted congressman. Gentleman is no stranger to this Pennsylvania Capitol. He served here with distinction for a number of years, and a true champion for agriculture and for rural Pennsylvania, now rural America, representing the Pennsylvania 12th Congressional District. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Fred Keller.
Thank you, GT. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, Pennsylvania. I know GT's shirt says he knows some things, and I know he knows some things. And one thing I know is I couldn't pull that off as well as he did, so I'm not going to do it. It's a pleasure to be here and discuss what we're doing in Washington, D.C. to help our kids and our farmers when it comes to milk and making sure that everybody understands the benefits and the labeling is accurate on those products. Having had my stepfather been a farmer, I understand all too well the struggles that go with making sure that we have healthy food to eat throughout the Commonwealth, across our nation, around the world. It's not an easy task, and our farmers get up every day and make sure that they're working so that we have healthy food to eat. Now, we're here today to let them know that we've got their back. We've got their back when it comes to making sure that other products aren't labeled as milk that should not be labeled as milk. And that's the Dairy Pride Act. And it didn't take me long to be in Washington, D.C., only less than 2 weeks, to know that I had to be on these bills to support our farmers. You got that commitment from me, you have that commitment from GT, and you have that commitment from the members of the Ag Committee here in Pennsylvania this morning. It was a pleasure to be back in Harrisburg, discussing the issues that are important and working to solutions that are going to benefit not only our farmers, not only agriculture here in Pennsylvania, but our kids in our schools. When it comes to milk and you see what's being offered to our kids, if they're not drinking it, it's not healthy. So in order to make sure that they have healthy milk to drink, let's make sure that we're putting whole milk back in our schools that is almost 97% fat-free. It's a matter of making sure we lay the facts out, making sure that consumers understand what they are, and making sure that we do what's right, not only for our consumers, but for our farmers. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I will turn the microphone over to Dave Smith, the president of Pennsylvania Dairymen's Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Causer and Congressman. That's great news to hear. We appreciate these farm families behind us, appreciate your support and all that you do for them. At this point, I want to introduce to you a nutritional and dietary expert we have with us, Althea Zankowski, and she's here to tell us about emerging scientific evidence that's questioning the advice of providing low-fat and skim milk, particularly to school children. Althea is a registered dietitian, licensed nutritionist, and accomplished healthcare professional with over 35 years working in the educational organizations and food companies. She is an associate professor at Montgomery County Community College where she teaches nutrition. Her list of accomplishments are many, and in the past she served as a national spokesperson for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Althea?
Thanks, Dave. It's an honor to be here, and it's great to drink chocolate milk. I'm a dietitian. I'm also a mom. My daughters are grown up, but back over 20 years ago, my pediatrician and all the science said, give your kids whole milk. It's exactly what I did. But as the science started to change, the recommendations were for either 1% or non-fat milk. I felt really guilty. What am I doing? Am I doing something wrong? Now I don't feel so guilty anymore because the emerging science has shown that I was doing the right thing all along. Science has shown us that kids that drink whole milk have lower body fat and they manage their weight better. Science also shows us that vitamin D, which is in all milks, is better absorbed when you drink it in whole milk. In fact, when the scientists looked at the amount of vitamin D in the blood of children, the kids that drank 1 cup of whole milk had the same amount of vitamin D in their blood as the kids that drank 3 cups of non-fat milk. I think we need to step back and look at the science. The body fats were lower in kids that drank whole milk, and they maintained their weight better. Why would that happen? Probably because of something we call satiety. Satiety means you feel full, and you feel full sooner, and you feel full longer. So when you drink whole milk, you're not eating between meals. I think that we have to offer kids choices. All milk is good for us. All milk gives us protein, calcium, vitamin B12, riboflavin. But I think we also need to look at the bigger picture. If Pennsylvania school children are eating healthy school lunch, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, let's give them the option of having the milk that they prefer. Because as a dietitian, I will tell you, no food is nutritious if it's not eaten. If we offer non-fat milk and the kids don't choose it or they throw it away, what have we accomplished? Nothing. Let's let them drink the milk that they enjoy the taste the best. All of us that have fed kids know kids only eat when they're hungry and when a food tastes good. They're not like us adults who eat not only when we're hungry, but because we think it's good for us or we paid for it. Let's go back and feed our children the food that they like. And we can all feel comfortable knowing that if we offer them the choice of whole milk and they take it at school lunch, that food will be consumed and will be enjoyed. Do I feel guilty anymore? Absolutely not. I gave my children whole milk when they were children. The science changed, but now the science is going back the other way. And I think that we need to acknowledge that, and we need to give Pennsylvania school children those options. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Althea. Great message from an expert that we trust. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you a mom. And she's a mom of 3 children. She's also a dairy farmer. The hardworking dairy farmers in this Commonwealth and standing behind me have one goal. It's to provide a nutritious and wholesome product every day that fortifies our bodies. Those jobs in Pennsylvania also pump in billions of dollars of economic revenue to Pennsylvania. Today, this mom is from Lebanon County, and she's very passionate about the firsthand benefits of fresh whole milk for her family and her community. I'd like to introduce to you Stacy Copenhaver of Tallview Farm.
Thank you, Dave. It is an honor to speak on behalf of Pennsylvania dairy farmers, dairy promoters and educators, mothers, and any individual passionate about preserving the dairy industry and keeping our children healthy through the best nutritious choices available. I'm encouraged and humbled by the strong support of individuals that have gathered here in Harrisburg today to stand united on the Dairy Pride Act and the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. We are standing together to urge our Pennsylvania government officials to support and pass these two crucial federal bills focused on dairy, and we need you. As a dairy farmer, I believe that the Dairy Pride Act is necessary in order to help consumers understand that all beverages labeled milk are not created equal. It is appropriate that the word pride is used in this bill because dairy farmers take great pride in producing the official beverage of Pennsylvania. Real milk is a protein powerhouse that energizes children and enriches their young minds eager to learn. Unfortunately, for far too long, beverage competitors have been allowed to mislabel their non-dairy alternatives as dairy. That practice has to stop. Cows produce real dairy milk, not soybeans or almonds or other imposters. Consumers deserve to know the truth about the products they choose to offer their children, and schools should be permitted to serve wholesome, natural, delicious whole milk to kids. It is time to establish a clear standard of identity for milk. Real dairy milk is an all-natural, pure drink that is packed with 9 essential nutrients, including protein, calcium, and vitamin D. It is also important to note that real dairy milk has a short list of natural ingredients with no added sugar, while milk imposters have added sugar and a long list of ingredients that are difficult to pronounce. We are very hopeful that the passing of the Dairy Pride Act will help to clarify misconceptions about milk, allowing consumers to understand that there is only one real milk. And then, as a mother of 3 school-age children, the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act is very near and dear to my heart. Wanting the best nutrition for my children, I followed my pediatrician's recommendation of giving them whole milk in their younger years with a focus on their brain development and their need for healthy fats in their diet. As my children have grown and have gotten older, we continue to drink whole milk in our home because of the many health benefits and because of the delicious taste. I have learned that the fat in whole milk helps our bodies to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins present in milk. And just like our dietitian has shared with us, there are numerous studies that have shown that drinking whole milk may help reduce the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and some cancers. So with the advice of my pediatrician and the many studies promoting whole milk, I will continue to provide whole milk for my own children and will stand to support the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act so that all children have access to whole milk at school, and I encourage all of you to do the same. My family consumes about a gallon of milk every single day. So you can see we are definitely milk drinkers at the Copenhagen home. Even though my children love milk, they do not love the milk that is provided at school because they do not enjoy the taste of the low-fat options offered at school because the taste and the fulfillment are very different. I know that my own children are getting their 3 servings of dairy every day. However, it saddens me to think that many children may not get their 3 servings of dairy every day. If my children do not like the taste of the low-fat options, what about other children? By providing whole milk in schools, all children will have the choice and access to enjoy the taste of milk that they like best. So as a proud Pennsylvania dairy farmer and as a mother of 3 school-age children, I am now asking all of you, families across the state of Pennsylvania, to urge Congress to pass these vital pieces of legislation to help power our children through their school days. And I ask you to also help support our world-class dairy industry by enjoying our fresh, delicious milk that we work hard 365 days of the year to produce for all of you. Please call your state lawmakers and your congressmen and demand that they vote and finally take action to restore whole milk in our schools. Thank you so much for your support today, and cheers to whole milk.
Thank you, Stacy. To the group behind me, can you tell me what kind of milk we would like to see available in schools? Whole milk. Thank you. You've heard from our dairy farmers in Pennsylvania. They would like to see whole milk restored to our schools. We have heard from a dietary expert on the importance of whole milk and its vital contribution to healthy and growing children. We have learned that through key pieces of legislation in Congress right now, that change can occur in our schools to benefit children and thriving students. Thanks to Congressman Thompson with H32, Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act, and Senator Toomey's recent introduction of milk in lunches for school kids. Our dairy farmers are highly concerned about the improper labeling of juices and alternative beverages. Congressman Keller has called for the passage of Dairy Pride Act that calls upon the FDA to take immediate action to defend the nation's dairy farmers by enforcing the standard of identity for the term milk. Our leaders in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives have also offered 2 resolutions in support of these important bills. We applaud all the efforts of our legislative leaders to support Pennsylvania family dairy farms and Pennsylvania children with nutrition of milk. These legislative actions are important. It is unfathomable to me that in a nation known for choices and founded on freedom, that my grandchild could enter school and not have the option and choice of whole milk and lunches. Without whole-bodied milk, school children are seeking sugary drinks at an accelerating rate. Many believe we have escalated the problem of obesity with the exclusion of whole milk in schools that adequately nourishes and fills the bellies of our young children. We have lost a generation of milk drinkers because the tasty, fresh milk they get in their homes tastes better than the milk they are being served at school due to it being skim or 1% milk. It is time. It is time, and the time is now to provide school children with the necessary nutrition of whole milk. We are asking Congress and administration officials in Washington and Harrisburg to allow us to offer a full range of power-packed milk products to strengthen the bodies of our children. We ask them to end the unfair practice of competitors who label their non-dairy products as milk. Most of all, we are asking you, the constituents of the Pennsylvania congressional delegation and senators, to call upon these leaders to get these bills signed into law by our President of the United States. Thank you very much. And what kind of milk do we want to see offered in schools? Whole milk. Thank you very much.